Hi, I'm Dr. Nina, back for another edition of TOVA Tuesday. As you see here, I'm with my tiara on today because I wanted to celebrate the history of Juneteenth and also the Miss Juneteenth Pageant. You know, on TOVA Tuesdays, I talk to many people in the community, many healthcare professionals on how to help you live a healthy life to improve your overall quality of life and well-being. But today you're thinking, well, why are we talking about Juneteenth today? Because we have to learn from our history in order to move forward and also to set a legacy for others to follow after us. And Mrs. Sandy Clark has done just that. Building the self-esteem of these young ladies who participate in Juneteenth is really important, and we will talk about why that is. So today I wanted to invite Mrs. Sandy Clark, who is the program director of the Delaware Juneteenth Association, to TOVA Tuesday. Welcome, Miss Sandy Clark. How are you today?
I am well, Dr. Nina. How are you?
I'm great. So
Good.
Tell us, we'll just get right into it.
Okay.
Let's talk about Juneteenth, and let's just talk about you first. Why you got involved in it, but talk us about your background because you've done a lot in the community. You're happily retired, but you're still working and still doing a lot of events and you do a lot with your church. And I don't know how you have time and all this energy to do these great things that you do, but I think it's important for the community to know about you. So I know you grew up in Wilmington like myself, and you graduated from Springfield College with a bachelor's in human services and worked for the state of Delaware and Department of Services for Children, Youth, and their Families for many years as a program administrator. But talk about why you got involved in Juneteenth.
Actually, it was just being up in the right place at the right time. Let's put it that way. At that time, I worked I worked at the Rose Hill Community Center, but my little part-time job was at the Kingswood Community Center. So needless to say, I worked a lot with youth. And at that time that I was working part-time at Kingswood Community Center, we were part of what we call the Delaware Prevention Network. We call it a coalition. It's called a coalition now, but it was the Delaware Prevention Network. And we were youth coordinators at the various community centers. I was at Kingswood. Bernie Wilkins, he was at Neighborhood House. Then we had Brenda Gunter, who was at Rose Hill with me, and several others at that time worked with the youth, and we were all part of that coalition. And at that time, Bernie went to on a state convention, and then when he was there, a couple of people asked him what was the state of Delaware doing about Juneteenth. Now you have to remember this is way back in 1994. He said, June what?
What is
never heard of it, of
right?
course. Yeah, June what? Yeah. And of course, then they shared with him about our history, because Juneteenth, we found out, is a very important part of our history, because that was when the last slaves in Galveston, Texas, found out that they were free after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in January of 1863. So we're talking about 2.5 years later.
It took them 2.5 years to get down to Galveston, Texas on that horse.
Yes.
To tell the community in Texas that they were free.
To tell them that they were free, because they didn't know. In other parts of the country, of course, you know, and there's been lots of rumors, you know, slow mail and, you know, lots of excuses, but, you know, and we're finding that, you know, maybe they didn't know in Texas because Texas didn't want them to know, so they could keep their slaves at that time.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, it turned out to be a general order, and they found out that they were free. And of course, you know, we as a people, we like to celebrate.
Yes.
And all of a sudden we're talking about you know, parties and barbecues and cookouts and religious services and and all of,
Dressing up, right?
yes, you know, yeah, you know,
Yes.
like to get dressed up to celebrate, yes. And then after that, that celebration kind of spread across the nation. And to this day, there are 46 of our 50 states who celebrate Juneteenth, including Washington, D.C., of course. And I have to share with you the states that do not celebrate Juneteenth now are Hawaii, Montana, and North and South Dakota. Those are the 4 states.
Well, we're going to get them on track after this show.
How about that? So, yes, so that was back in, like I said, we started out in 1994. And we got the children together because we felt that they needed to know about their history, where they
right.
come from. And of course, it is not being taught in schools to this day about Juneteenth. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But at the time, we would tell them about their history, but we'd also have celebrations. And we started out by having plays and parades and, of course, cookouts and education seminars, things of that nature, so the young children would know about their heritage and about their history. So that was in 1994. After that, about 3 years later, Bernie came to me, knowing that I had been in a pageant, the Mrs. Delaware pageant, and I probably, even at that time, I just did it just to do something. And never knowing I would be able to use that skill to create a Juneteenth pageant. So Bernie was like, you know, they're doing it in other states. We need you to work with these young ladies. And of course, that was kind of like a no-brainer for me. And so I started the pageant in 1997. So we're celebrating 26 years of Juneteenth this year. And we're celebrating 23 years of the Juneteenth pageant itself. So we've never stopped. Every year, there's going to be some sort of celebration. And of course, it being the pandemic, we weren't able to do the pageant this year, but we did several wonderful events, you know, about Juneteenth. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. But I also wanted to tell the community about you, Sandy. You do a lot of volunteering in the community besides Juneteenth. You're an AKA, you're a chaplain.
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Yes. And you're also the beacon of light of texting ministries, which I greatly appreciate having those wonderful daily inspirations that you text to so many people every morning. It really does help me get through the day. It really does. So I really thank you for that. And you also attend Simpson United Methodist Church, and you are a lay minister there as well. So you've been happily retired, but you're just working constantly.
I know.
Do you find that rewarding?
Yes, I do. Like I said, I just say to God be the glory for the text and ministry, something, a gift that He's given to me, and being able to, be a lay minister in my church and helping other people. That's what I'm all about. And so, yes, it fills up my day. From the time I wake up until the time I go to sleep at night, I'm either on the phone, on the computer, doing something, hopefully for the good of the people. Basically, that's what we're all about. We're here for a purpose. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And as we recap, June 19th, 1865 is the day that President Lincoln sent down the troops to Galveston, Texas to tell the slaves that they were free. And that's something that we are struggling and striving for, continuing to celebrate the legacy and the spirit of Juneteenth, and many, many ways that we do that now. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. And we're going to just talk about some of the great programs that the Delaware Juneteenth Association actually does for empowering youths to help them build good self-esteem, healthy self-esteem, to better understand themselves, but just to build good community people that will, once they get older, maybe they may come back and give back to the community. And I think that you have built and planted the seeds in these young women and young men. And I'm just excited what the future holds for the association and these young youth that are just doing so many great things. So let's just talk a little bit about Delaware Juneteenth Association.
Okay, the association itself, like I said, after we got together, we decided, this is serious work, and we right away got our 501c3. We gathered together as an organization, as the founders, starting with Bernie Wilkins, and then Sylvia Lewis Harris is now our president. I heard you say something about that I was the president, but Sylvia Lewis Harris is our president. Brenda Gunter is our secretary, and I am the treasurer also of our organizations. And we have several other board members along with Kevin Ladaris and Nancy Hall, who were, again, like I said, inception. They were with us years ago. And we've all, just kept plugging away, doing programming for our young people. And so, like I said, I started the pageant in 1997. And the young ladies, the first one that we had was 18 young ladies and from the various centers. And we had our first pageant at Christina Cultural Arts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was at Christina. And then after that, we went to the Delaware Theater Company. We were there for a while. Then we went to the Grand Opera House. And we stayed many, many years. It got bigger and better. And, one thing about this particular program, it's called we call it the Life Enrichment Program, because it's just not just a regular pageant, because even though they were having pageants in other states, they had older adults, but we wanted to keep it with the youth. So it's youth ages 8 to 18, and it's still that way. And when we decided to do that, we said, okay, we need to teach these young ladies. This is not a beauty pageant. This is about, like you said, self-esteem, self-image. This is about family relationships and healthy eating and healthy living. And so with that said, we put the Family Enrichment Program together, and it involves the family. It's not just the young lady herself. It's her mom, her dad, the rest of the siblings in the household. Everybody gets involved when it's pageant time. Okay, I don't care if it's single moms or single dads raising the children, because we've had them too. So it is a family affair. And so we teach them, we educate them, first of all. They have to know their Juneteenth history. They have to know, again, how to walk. Young ladies, their poise. Even we teach them, spirituality. We make sure that they, again, know how to present themselves. So we have essay writing, we have public speaking, all that is involved. And we work with them for 6 months, from January until June.
Wow.
And we have a really good people who help with this endeavor. And it's turned out to be very successful. Like I said, we've never stopped doing it these 23 years until this year with the pandemic.
You didn't stop. You did things a little differently, right?
Yeah, you know what? You're so right, because of course virtual programs came along, and so we just jumped right in. And so we had wonderful activities even this year with Juneteenth.
Thank you so much for that. I also wanted to share, as me being a healthcare provider, and I've seen the great work that you've done and cultivate such great self-esteem in the young ladies. And I just want to say, you even accept young ladies who may have developmental disabilities or other types of challenges, and you even work with them. And I've seen just the level of confidence that this one young lady just had in just her lovely spirit. And you accept all young ladies. And I think it's really important that if families want to participate, that this is an activity and something that they can get involved with, and they will remember for the rest of their life. But as a healthcare provider, building healthy self-esteem is very, very important And the medical literature actually supports that as well. So
Mm-hmm.
no longer are you just a community health activist. You're also a healer, Sandy. Did you know that?
Hallelujah.
So I just happened to look up, the importance of building healthy self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And it also helps young ladies have positive relationships with their family and friends and others.
So
but
true.
when you have good self-esteem, you're less likely to develop mental health conditions such as depression, such as anxiety, such as eating disorders, or addictions.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, Dr. Sandy.
You are so right. And I have to go back when I was talking about the Delaware Prevention Coalition. It is a prevention program. It's a drug prevention program.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, one of the, we call it alternative programming, and the fact that Juneteenth became one of these alternative programs because it takes their mind off of, and they're with their parents when they come to the workshops. And they're working as a family unit, and they have more to do and to concentrate on, as opposed to the life in the streets, if you will, or like I said, getting addicted to drugs or whatever. So we always like to just kind of keep that healthy environment, and we meet at least once a week, and then they have, of course, things that we do in between time, and another big piece of this is community service. So we have, that's so important, that they feed the homeless and they act with people who are having disabilities themselves. Mm-hmm. And they learn how to cope, and they learn how valued we as a people are in this society. So we didn't always have, like I said, that history that we still need in schools, but at least, we were able to do some of the basic things, education that they need. We're really going forward, going to talk about that curriculum that we're trying to get into schools now. But we did the best, and we're doing the best that we can with these young people. And even just, I'm going to say about 3 to 4 years ago, we knew that, we cultivated these young ladies and made them feel good about themselves. And then we thought about, look, what about the young men? So, some programming for them also. So they were a little bit more difficult. The young, they don't want to hear the word pageant. Yeah. So a male showcase. And so we have been doing that for the last 3 years, I believe, and we do that at the Nemours building, at their theater, at the Nemours Theater, and we've been having that for the last 3 years, and it's all young men, ages 8 to 18, and they perform, and again, they learn also about their history and Juneteenth. So we just do the kind of like the whole gamut. We try to do that.
Wow. So not only do you help to cultivate and empower young ladies, but also the men as well.
Yeah, we're working with the men.
That's amazing. And so they also get an opportunity to participate. They have to give back to the community as well. So these are all good learning experiences that they're going to take with them for the rest of their lives when they go to college, when they go out to work. So I wanted to talk about the young lady who won Mrs. Juneteenth, and also she is the 2020 National Miss Juneteenth Pageant winner, Sanaya Gay.
Yes.
I've had an opportunity to meet her at the parade, and she's a lovely young lady.
Yes, she is.
So let's talk about Sanaya.
Okay. Well, since we've been doing the pageant for 22 years, Sanaya Gay, our 22nd queen. So you can these years, and these ladies, other ladies have gone on, and they're raising their own families, and they're even bringing their kids back into Juneteenth. I just can't believe. Around this long. But Miss Sanaya Gay. She was, I'll tell you, God is good, because she was the perfect queen. It was just like the perfect timing. And one of the things that Sanaya has is that this big booming personality, her beauty, her charm, and her community service work. And, those just coupled together, and with an amazing mom and dad who are right behind her, wanting her to do well. Not that our other queens, we don't take anything away from them, because they, again, have been fantastic. This year, however, we were not able to have the pageant. And so Sanaya won in 2019. She was our Juneteenth queen. She was our 22nd queen. And since we couldn't, of course, do the pageant for the 23rd year this year, we went to her and we said, Sanaya, would you mind carrying over the title and into 2020 as Miss Juneteenth Delaware? And of course, she was just so excited to be able to do that, because, like I said, she does a lot. She's a beautiful dancer. Her topic, our platform is domestic violence, because she had experienced such in her family. And so it was just the perfect pair, during this time. And with that said, Sylvia Lewis Harris, who's our president, she works a lot with our with our National Juneteenth Foundation. And they decided that they were going to have their very first inaugural pageant this year. So since Sanaya was our 2020 Juneteenth queen, she wanted to go and represent Delaware as a national queen.
So she is our national queen. She's from Delaware. How about that?
Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? And it took time. It took a lot of work. And the first part of this was just because of the pandemic, is just going to Tennessee. That was the biggest.
Wow.
Flying. And I normally would have gone, but again, I'm at that age.
Yes, you have to be careful.
And risk, and my husband and my family, that I, could not go. But Sylvia and Sanaya and her mother and her grandmother all went to Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow.
In the National Miss Juneteenth National Pageant. And it was I heard that it was very exciting for them to be able to represent Delaware. Because of the pandemic, however, there were many who were not able to go. I think they started out with about 14, 15 contestants, but it was a fewer number. But the bottom line is that she walked away with that title of Miss Juneteenth National. And now that she is the national queen, of course, I have to, salute people like Sylvia Lewis Harris, who really just hung in there with her, because I wasn't able to go. But I really congratulate our mayor, our governor, our senators, our Congress people. They just jumped right in and said, look, we are going to support this young woman. And they did. And so she got, she sold the most ads, and, everybody just joined in and really supported her. And that was so important. That was half the battle right there to get her there.
And TOVA Community Health has always supported Juneteenth.
Yes,
always. So glad to be able to.
Yes, thank you.
Know that our contributions are cultivating youth that are going to go on and be such great leaders, and also come back and serve the community in their different way, in their very unique way. But Sanaya also is an advocate for domestic violence awareness. And to my shock, and this is from the CDC, that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience physical violence by their intimate partner at some time during their lifetime. That is huge. And her work in this area to really educate the community about domestic violence is very impactful. Can you talk about that?
It is. And like I said, that is the closest to her heart. And it was just like the perfect platform for her, because now, like you said, that we're in this pandemic and we're getting these statistics. She could just be the best, spokesperson for something as serious as this. And she has already started. I mean, she's since she's come back from Memphis, Tennessee, the pageant, she has been speaking at various organizations. One of them is My Sister's Keeper. She just did, I think it's called Raising Kings event that she spoke there. And she's been, taking engagements. And another big piece of this, she's getting interviews from the News Journal and Delaware News, and they're still calling us, and, Channel 22 and different radio and TV stations. And she's bringing that message out there and telling them about the statistics, like I said, the statistics for domestic violence. So what better person to do that is to someone who's already, had, experienced that. I believe it was her sister that experienced that. So she was right there in the front line, and being able to relate, because that's important too. You can talk about things that you read about, that somebody told you about, but just to experience that yourself is much more impactful, much more powerful when you come out and speak about things such as that. Yeah. And she's just been wonderful. Yes.
Thank you so much, Sandy. And I know there's so many more things that we can talk about the Delaware Juneteenth Association.
Yeah.
But I wanted to,
go ahead.
But I wanted to tell the community where they can find out more information about the Delaware Juneteenth Association, and they can go to www.delawarejuneteenth.org. Is there any other phone number or other place you would like for the community to get more information about the Delaware Juneteenth Association?
Of course, like you said, it is our website. I will say my number again, 302-530-1605. And our president, who is Sylvia Lewis Harris, 302-275-8612 is her phone number. So if you are looking for an organization that will really, empower and work with your youth, come and join us. We're going to start work in January again, and we work with them young ladies, like I said, up until the time of the pageant. Another thing I wanted to say, Dr. Nina, is the things that we want to do nationally now, because, Juneteenth is on the map now. And we have to mention that our president, or president-elect Joe Biden, is very familiar with Juneteenth, and also our vice president-elect Kamala Harris is also very familiar, because she, I think it was Senator Booker, when they were senators just last year or this year in 2020, the legislation's there to make it a holiday. So we would love to see Sanaya up there with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris signing that Juneteenth bill, because this has been an initiative for many, many years, at least 20 years, each year that has been presented. And so, and another thing that we want to do besides signing the bill is also get the curriculum into the schools. We're hearing now that Oklahoma has already done it. Yes.
Wow.
Being the first state, and usually we, because we were the fourth state to make it a recognized holiday, but to get that curriculum into our schools would be phenomenal. About Juneteenth, it's called Juneteenth 101.
Wow. Well, you definitely got my vote for that. I think that is very important that our youth really learn their history and really understand the struggles as Black Americans, what we have been through for over 400 years of struggle, and the advancements that we have made despite so many obstacles and barriers that we have faced, and that we can stand with such dignity and pride.
Absolutely.
Despite, and we can move forward to do many great things, and that we value each and every member of our community. And I think that that's what kind of encompasses what Juneteenth is all about to me.
Yes, I agree totally.
So we have to come to a close soon, but I wanted to ask you is
Yes.
what's next? What do you see? What do you foresee the future of the Delaware Juneteenth Association? If you could have a donation of millions of dollars, what would you
Wow.
want the association to look like?
Well, you really put me on a spot there. Like I said, because of the pandemic, there's many new norms that's going to be happening in our nation, and we can see the Black Lives Matter movement and Juneteenth, just being a part of that. So it's going to open doors for many of our young people. And with Juneteenth, I would love to see, like for instance, our national queens to be a part of all that's been going on in terms of our nation and our administration, and respecting us as African Americans, and knowing that just here in this state of Delaware and across the country, that I remember the Martin Luther King celebration, and the way it is now. It's a holiday. We get a day off, and we want Juneteenth recognized the same way, where the whole nation is just standing still, just like, because it's our 4th of July. We like to call it our 4th of July.
Yes.
So there's huge parades, and everything is just based around our African American heritage, because we like to say that no one is free until all peoples, and we pluralize that, until all peoples are free. So it's not just African Americans, it's all people of color, and that's what I'd like to see. They celebrate what is it, Cinco de Mayo, different holidays and so on. So I just like to see that happen across the nation. And of course, you do need funding for that.
Yes.
So I had millions and millions of dollars. That's what we would be able to do. But it's coming, and we're happy about what we've been able to do thus far.
Wow. Well, you have my full support, as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Mrs. Sandy Clark, for coming on to TOVA Tuesdays. I think you have shown how we can empower communities and honor the spirit of Juneteenth, building healthy family and communities, one young lady, one young man, the youth at a time.
Yes.
So I encourage everyone, if they're able to support the Delaware Juneteenth Association. Please. I definitely see the value of all of the work you do. And I want to thank you so much for coming on TOVA Tuesday today. Any last comments before we close up?
Well, I can give you your Cash App.
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay. It is $DE Juneteenth. So, if you want to donate, please, we need all the help that we can get. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you again for appearing on TOVA Tuesday. My name is Dr. Nina. To find out more information about TOVA Community Health, please visit our website at www.tovacommunityhealth.org, or you can like us on Facebook or Instagram at TOVA Community Health. You can also find out more about the episodes and others if you go to our TOVA Health page at YouTube channel. Again, if you like these episodes and you want to hear more great work that people are doing in the community to help us live a healthy quality of life, please donate to our Cash App as well, which is $TOVA Health as well. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Dr. Nina. This has been a pleasure.
And I got to wear my tiara today.
Yeah.
Loved it. So you have a good evening, and we will check out more episodes of TOVA Tuesday. Stay tuned. Thank you.